love to hear what are your top, maybe your top three favorite channels or favorite ways to raise capital.
Yeah. So, first of all, we do get a lot of feedback from Facebook. We do a lot of in-person networking with various clubs and groups and things like that. So, once a month, we have this alternating every other Wednesday. We call Wednesday KRI Day. So, we have an investor update, a real deal investor update. It's like coming up Wednesday after Labor Day. But what it is, it's a chance for me to show our investors and other investors, right? This is one to many, just no different than what we're
Hmm.
doing right here. Our goal, we get about 200 people on those, but what I do is I
Nice.
tell you what is our rents, what is our leasing activity, what's our insurance cost, what's going on in the market, why is Winter Haven rent slow right now compared to Bradenton, like all that. I tell you what, that's why I call it the real deal, because we are giving you real data from my portfolio, and I don't make these
Mm,
numbers up. So that is huge because now these are investors in our deals, right? So I want you to think about this. If we're on this Zoom call and I got a couple hundred people there and 60, 70, 80 of them are existing investors, what a better way for new investors to get a feel for what it's like to be with us. Because when these Zoom calls, when they chat privately, you can't see it. You can't. So I encourage you, go talk privately to our investors. I'm cool with that. I want you to figure out what it's like. And then it gives them the opportunity to ask me any question they want. Now, if you're sitting in my chair and you're new to the game, that's really nerve wracking
yeah.
because you don't know what they're going to ask you. I remember my first live webinar. I was like, oh my God, what are they going to ask me? It was really, I had notes everywhere, plastered all over my desk. And I obviously don't do that anymore, but that you have to put yourself out there. So that's the number one thing. We also have the other Wednesdays a workshop for where we teach people how to do it. But it's these webinars that are so important for raising money. You need to get in front of people. They need to see, just like I'm doing right now. You need to see me, feel me, talk to me, see, and ask me any question you want. And here's the key. When you're sitting in this chair, you better know the reason why, right? We manage our own properties. We've managed between our properties and others over 16,000 units. So when someone asks me an on the ground question about payroll or this expense or taxes, I know because I'm deep in it, right? So that there's no better way. I always tell people there's no better way to build trust than to get in front of people and know your stuff. Think Shark Tank. Just think about Shark Tank, right? If you go on that show and you don't know your numbers, Mr. Wonderful is going to destroy you. You agree?
That's
Now,
right.
the investors on these calls don't do that to you. They just turn off their camera and you never hear from them again. They're a little more polite than Mr. Wonderful.
So that's interesting. I know plenty of operators who do those kind of calls to the investors who invested in those deals, but you're opening up to your whole list to tune in on those calls?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? What better way for you to decide if I'm real? So here's the thing that people don't like. And I always tell, I
Hmm.
want you to remind you that Warren Buffett, do we all agree that he's a really good investor? He's obviously very
Yep.
successful. Has he bat 1,000? No. He's made mistakes. But here's the difference. Here's why
Yeah.
everybody trusts Warren Buffett, because he will tell you, I made a mistake. We shouldn't have bought that deal. This is why I screwed up. This is what I learned from that. Guess what? I do the same thing. There was a period earlier this year when our Winter Haven property was all of a sudden we had a spike in vacancy. I'm a freak about occupancy. Occupancy is number one always. So we made adjustments. So we figured out why did it happen? It happened because little bitty Winter Haven, Florida, had 1,300 units dumped on it in a matter of 2 months. That's a lot to
Mm.
absorb in a 2 month period. So now what happens is you go on these webinars, and here's what people try to do. They don't want to talk about it. They just don't talk about Winter Haven that month. No, that is not what you should do. You should tell them this is what's
Mm.
going on. Occupancy went down. This is why. This is how I'm fixing it. Here's what is going to happen over the coming months. So now they tune in next month. They're like, damn, he was right. He said this would happen. He said Ryan rents would go down a little bit. They did because I'm going to stay full even when new guys are giving away 2 months of free rent. But then it's going to level out. My occupancy is going to go. You see what I mean? So you be real with people. They don't expect you to bat 1,000 100% of the time, but be open and honest with them because they now were going to see, oh, wait a minute. So Ken had some adversity. He was not afraid to talk about it. He showed you how he identified it. He figured out what went wrong. He told you what he's doing to fix it. Like, how do you build trust better than that? But it's
Mm,
hard.
that's
It's really hard to do that. That's why I believe the only way to really do this right is to get into the weeds and know what's going on the ground. Because then any question, it doesn't matter. You can ask me any question you want. And it's rare that I don't have some rationale as to why we do what we do.
I see. Very good. And how long are these, how many deals you typically cover on these calls, and how long do the calls run for?
They're supposed to be an hour, but they usually end up to be, we start at 7 p.m. and they usually go to 9:30. I mean, they
Oh,
just do
wow. Okay.
because I want to answer everybody's question. Like I'm on there to answer your questions. So if at some point we'll have too many people and I won't be able to get to them all without going to midnight, but as long as I can do that, I will. I mean, that's a good problem to have.
And how has your investors' feedback been? How long you been doing this strategy, these calls?
Oh, years, a long
How,
time. Yeah.
gotcha, gotcha. I'm pretty sure you get very good feedback from your investors about these calls, right?
Yeah, I think so. But you know what I like about it?
Mhm.
What make a lot of people uncomfortable. If somebody is concerned about something, I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it because see, I really appreciate Tim. If you have a concern about something, I want you to tell me so we can talk it through because
Mhm.
that's the only chance I can have to help you understand what's going on and how I respond to it. If you don't ever bring it up, I never get to deal with it. I don't even know you're stressed about it. What I find most of the time, like Florida's insurance, right? Everybody's, what
Yep.
happens if there's a hurricane? You do know you have insurance for hurricanes. Oh, you do? See, a lot of people don't even know that. But if somebody
Ah,
doesn't raise their hand and say, "Hey, what do you do if see a lot of people are just too shy. They don't want to raise their hand because they don't want to feel stupid. They don't want to
interesting.
ask a
Yeah.
dopey question. I just guys out with any question you have. It's not dopey because if you're thinking of it, 50 other people are too. And so I want those questions out there. I want you because of course I'm trying to mitigate the obvious risk. Of course I care about hurricanes. It's why we don't buy on the beach. I can't protect against that. You're on the beach, you're toast.
Yeah, that's really good. All right. That's a really good strategy. Thank you for sharing that. What's your next favorite one?
Yeah, we do a lot online, a lot of networking. Our contact database is quite large. We use text messages. We do all the things that any marketing company should do. The challenge on the marketing side, especially for raising capital, marketing companies, for some reason, they have a very difficult time understanding your brand. And they start sending out stuff that sounds ridiculous. It's all these cheesy marketing sayings. And that's the battle we fight constantly. We just stopped using them because they just don't get it. You've now spent a few minutes with me. Could you imagine me coming out here with some really cheesy, let me pull back the curtain on the secrets of multifamily? Like, does that even sound like me? See, that's the stuff that they do. Right? You got to pay attention to the marketing side of the world, right?
Mm,
You are what you are and stick to it, right? If you're boring, stay boring. If you're super exciting, then stay that. Whatever it is that's your thing. And I believe personally it's about trust and transparency and giving people the opportunity to ask questions. And what you find happens after a while, it just grows automatically because wealthy people like to brag about the deals that they're in to other wealthy people who say, "Yeah, who, who's that again? How do I reach that person?" I'm telling you, literally, that's how it happens. And as you early on in your career, now I know you didn't ask me this, but this is really important. If you're in the capital raising deal and you want to do this for real, in the beginning, you've got to turn a couple deals and make money because then you develop that full cycle track record, right? If you just buy, oh, I'm going to hold for 20 years, nobody ever gets to see, did you really make any money? So in the beginning, go into, I call it money making mode and buy a
mm,
couple deals, add value, sell them. Your investors are going to be happy. You're going to have a track record. And now somebody has something to look at. Plus, you have taken a deal full cycle because when you've taken it full cycle, you've got to go through the process. I can tell you all day long what it's like, but until you actually go through it, you're like, okay, I get it. I see what happens here. And so that's what I would encourage you to do if you're early in your capital raising career. You got to turn a couple deals because now you got bragging rights. And that's really important in our business.
gotcha. That's good. Okay, so you have your real deal, I guess, webinars that you
Investor
do,
update. Yep.
investor updates that you do, and that's monthly or weekly?
No, it's
Monthly, right?
so we do every other Wednesday. One Wednesday
Every
is the
other.
investor update. The other one is we call our multifamily workshop. It's the education side of our business. We go into
Okay.
whatever is going on in our business. If you
Gotcha.
want to
Okay.
learn
So you have the investor updates. Yeah. And then you have the social media and
oh
the
yeah,
all the marketing, the
YouTube.
multi-channel,
Yep.
email, SMS, all of that.